Hello, everybody. What the Sam heck is that thing? This is the beginnings of my brand new Caridina 40-gallon breeder tank. Now, as you may know, I have done a pretty good job breeding Neocaridina shrimp, so much so that it has become my living, believe it or not. My hobby has turned into my job. And what does a guy who breeds Neocaridina has never done Caridina do when he tries his first Caridina tank? This. So this is what I've come up with. In this video, I'm going to talk about my DIY filter. I think I've come up with a pretty unique way of doing this. It's going to solve the active soil problem in Caridina tanks, the way I see it anyway. So if you've never done a Caridina tank, maybe watch and learn with me. I would point out some of the things I figure out as I go along. Or maybe you can see a different way of doing things. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this. This tank is a lot of fun. And due to delivery problems and stuff getting broken in the mail, this is going to have to be a two-parter because I have a YouTube video schedule to keep up with. And this stuff's not going to get here in time like I had hoped. So this will be part one of setting up my Caridina tank. My first Caridina tank. So let's start with the filter. Now, one of the main things when you're keeping Caridina shrimp is keeping the pH down. I've thought long and hard about this before I got into Caridina shrimp about how I want to do it. And I think this filter will do a pretty good job. So I know many of you guys heard of Asian style filters. Well, I'm calling this Asian style filter in reverse on steroids. On steroids and then in reverse. I wanted something that obviously is going to do a good job filtering and something that I can use to keep to manage the active soil, changing out the active soil to keep the pH low. And this is what I've done. I've started with a 5-gallon bucket, food grade cutout. This is not just your $5 5-gallon bucket you get at the hardware store. I special ordered this food grade one for like 25 bucks. I only had to cut it up. I cut the section out there. We siliconed it in. There's my pump. You got silicone. And this will be the intake. And these will be the sponges. And you can see sponges will go over this. So there's our sponges, and got that cut up 5-gallon bucket, silicone into place, drilled a hole so that the 3/4 inch PVC pipe will go exactly through to our pump. And that's where I'm at now. And this right here is the manifold that will distribute the water throughout the bucket. There it is installed, and you can see we've got output going that way and output going that way. And then at the bottom here, we need our, even though the soil and the substrate that's in here will act as biomedia, I'm going to add some lava rock in here to be a permanent resident, because eventually the substrate, the active soil, will be coming in and going out, coming in and going out. And we want a stabilizing filter media. Well, that's what I want. So I'm going to fill the bottom of this with lava rock. And this is the lava rock that I am adding in. It's pretty good up there, covers the pump and all that. That's about what I planned on doing. That's perfect. So now it's time for the real genius of this project. This is plastic zipper media bag filled with active soil. And that can go right there. And so the name of the game is going to be checking the pH. And when the pH gets too low or too high, or too low, gets too high, starts creeping back up. This substrate's supposed to take it to 5.5. Let me show you the substrate. So this is what we have here, the ISTA 5.5 pH. And as you can tell, it's not easy to get in the United States, but I saw it on, I've been watching lots of Carradine shrimp channels, and I saw Shrimp Mania had really good luck with this stuff, and so this is what I wanted to go with. It says it doesn't release ammonia, which is good, so then we don't have to worry about that. We can just swap out the bags in there when the pH starts getting too high. We're going for 5.5. Anything over 6 or above is unacceptable. So when we start creeping towards 6, then we'll start swapping out new bags. I'm not sure how many bags it's going to take. So we'll see. And I think we're going to maximize, get the most use out of this. It's either going to get used up way faster, or it won't need as much and get used up faster, or it'll last a long time. I'm not sure, having that much flow on the active soil, but it'll be a fun way to figure out. It'll be a fun thing to see what happens for sure. So now I'm going to end up putting, now I ordered, like I said, it's not real easy to get. I ordered 3 bags of this. I don't know how much I need, to be honest. I figured I'd use 2 bags and keep 1 for later to refill packages, but I ordered 3. They sent 1 and said the other 2 will be here in the next week and a half to 3.5 weeks. But now I just got a notification saying it's shipped and it'll be here in 2 days. So we hope. This is the type of media bag I got. That zipper is plastic. I don't want no metal in our shrimp tanks. And as you can see, this stuff, when I first opened this up, I was like, oh no, it's way too fine. Because in the videos I've seen online of this stuff, I thought it was a lot bigger pellets than that. But good thing I got the fine mesh bags, so that won't be a problem. So now I'm going to fill up, see how much. I'll probably fill up media bags with all the rests in here and see how that gets us. Alright, I used up that whole bag of ISTA pH 5.5. It filled up 7 of these. I'll show you how big that is. And then there's a little bit left I dumped in the bottom. But like I said, it says the next will be here, the other bags will be here in a couple days, so then we can fill up the substrate. But now it's time to put some water in this thing for the first time. Super excited about that. And one thing you got to do with these, you got to mix your own water with Carradina tanks, and I'll show you how I do that. And so this is what we have right here. This will be my mixing in my fill bucket. And the good thing is with this bucket, if I ever get more tanks in other rooms, I can get a dolly and wheel this thing around to different tanks if so need be. So let me show you what all is in this thing. Pop the lids off, and we have this coming out, and this is what we got. We got a pump. I have a freezer line tapped into that, held in with adhesive sealant, and then a valve to adjust it, and then down here I have it so that the water is also mixed, so when I have the pump plugged in, it mixes. And I haven't ran the line to the tank for this yet, but as you can see, if I can do this one-handed and film, that's full speed with the valve all the way open, and if I open the valve more water will come out of there. So that's cool. So let's see if we can get some of this water in the tank. So this is all RO water. I filled up 5-gallon buckets, one little bit at a time, and filled it up. And once I got it full to this point, then I added GH+. I'll show you guys how to do that later, but I already made this batch to get started up on filling the tank. So first thing I gotta do before I start filling the tank is run a line to the tank. And so there you have. I also have this little float valve thing. So I have to babysit it. And I still have to adjust this. I don't know where I need to set the water level at. It's gonna be somewhere close to that. There it is. And I can open it all the way up. And we go that fast. But this is not gonna I don't have enough water in here to make the whole tank. So I'll show you guys how I make water. And this is my RODI unit. I got it from Bulk Reef Supply. So like you said, this is actually marketed to saltwater. So don't let this RO thing scare you, because even if, say you've tried keeping Neos and you're just not having luck with them in your water and you want to keep Neos, or you want to do saltwater, if you need to change the water that you have, this is the best way to do it, and it's easy. Now, this did cost I got it on sale for like $230. I think it's normally like $260. This is the 4-stage, 75 gallon per day model, but it's the plus model, which means I have I have a gauge. I'm getting almost 60 PSI, and you need 50, so that's good. And this is a inline TDS meter. So after it goes through the sediment and the carbon block, we are getting a TDS of 9. Then we switch it to that after it goes through the membrane, and we're at 0. So we're making perfect 0 water. And so what this is the same. This is a quick connect. It comes with this. I didn't have to put any of this together, so don't let that scare you if you get it from Bulk Reef Supply like I did. It all comes together. It's all perfect. There was a little tiny leak right here. I had to tighten it just a tiny bit, but that's not easy. That's not hard to deal with. This is the wastewater. This is the water that is rejected. And this is the water we're keeping. And with it being winter here, something I have figured out, with it being winter, our groundwater is horribly cold. And all these things are rated at water that's 75 degrees because the speed at which this works, the temperature plays a big role. So at like 50 degrees, which is probably about what my groundwater is this time of year, I'm probably not even doing 45 gallons per day. If I add a little bit of hot, just enough to make it like 70 degrees, like I would when I'm doing my water changes, my other tanks, then it's perfect. And usually when I'm doing this, I set my timer on my phone for about an hour, and that'll get about halfway full. So then every hour, I'm taking about 2.5 gallons to my little mixing thing. And so we'll wait for the water that's already in the mixing bucket to go in there. And then I'll make this, and then I'll show you guys how I remineralize the water that goes back in the tank. So that's what one of my containers full of made water gets me in a 40-gallon tank. And something come in today. Look at that. I splurged big time for the light. Still gotta wait for still waiting on the top to come in. And while we were filling up the tank from this, I was filling up RO water in buckets. Now remember, I'm going to show you guys how I mix, but remember, I did not get due to the pump doesn't suck it all the way down, so there's still like an inch or two of water left in there. So we're not going to have a true TDS of 0 when we test now, because this is the second time I've done it. Yeah, we're at I don't know, that's showing up on the camera at 16. Let's see if I can in there for you. $15, $16 that we're showing. Okay. So then we have our KH Plus, and I know last time I did 3 level scoops. It ended up being a little bit too much. So I had to fill the bucket a little bit more full than I would like. So I'm going to do, there's 1 scoop. And then we'll do another scoop. So this pump is still running. And I have the valve all the way opened up. And I have an elbow at the bottom. We may need to add a teeny bit more, but I want to see if that will be enough. So that pump is mixing it up. I'm going to give it a while to mix up. And then we'll give it a test here in a little bit. So after giving it a few minutes of mixing, probably about 10 minutes, I test here, 101, test here, 102. I just want to test here, 102, test here, 102, 102. There was just 101 for like 5 minutes straight. Now we're getting 102 everywhere. And that one's 103. So it's still mixing. It's still dissolving. So we may not need to add any more. We're targeting 120. But 110 to 130 will do, and 20 is the sweet spot. So it looks like it's going to settle at about 107, 108. So I'm just going to put a little teeny tiny bit in there. A little bit. I don't even know how to describe this much. It don't really matter right now as I'm learning how to do this and exactly how much it's going to take, because there's not going to be any shrimp in here for a while. But when I start getting shrimp in here, then I need to get this down to a science and getting it figured out so where I can get it within a range of 10. You know, that's ideally, I think. 110. 108. It'll go up 109. It'll go up probably a handful more, but it'll end up settling around 115. And that'll be good. And here we are, a couple of days later, all filled with water. I will tell you one thing, the first time you ever deal with one of them float valves, that is a really fiddly thing that had me saying some bad words yesterday. And look at the spillway coming out. Nice spillway. We got some nice flow over there. Look at the active soil. So that is the holdup. So I have a schedule to keep up with my YouTube videos, and I was going to be a day late getting this video out. Then I woke up this morning and see this. So the substrate I need to finish this tank and to plant it up and get it going, it got 20 minutes from my house after taking 2 weeks to get to that point, and they say, oh, that busted open or something, it's undeliverable. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to split this setting up this tank video into 2 parts. So what we got, the filter build, we got making RO water, the RO unit. We covered everything up to this point. See, that is all the substrate that was in there. Everything is looking good. I have no complaints. And so thank you for coming on with me on this journey so far. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. See a Neo Shrimp Farmer learn how to do Caridina for the first time. Definitely been an experience to get this far. So hopefully you guys will check out my next video on this tank. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.